Well, 7 o'clock on the dot, and we got quite a show for you today, boys. Boys and girls, we got quite a show for you today. They're shooting at ICE centers and missing the mark. This episode of the MC Too Tall Show. Let's go.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
You're watching the MC Too Tall Show. I am your host, MC Too Tall, the official spokesperson for General Consensus of the People. And General Consensus says that the political violence is all coming from the left. Political violence from the left, political violence from the left, political violence from the left. And we got to do something about this. We got to address it, recognize it for what it is, and hold the pundits who enable it and encourage it accountable. And they will deny that they encourage it. They will say they are against it. They will say that, and then go right back to saying Trump and all his supporters are fascists. Anybody opposed to the Democrats, whether they support Donald Trump or not, is a fascist. Get rid of anybody who is opposed to our movement, because our movement is for the greater good of the people. But then when there's political violence coming from the left, like it always does, they talk about what a travesty it is, what a tragedy it is, how everybody, including the right, has to cool down the temperature. It's not the right that has to cool down the temperature, it is the left. You left, to the left, to the left. That's where all the political violence comes from. From the left, from the left. And people need to come to a hetero white messiah realization of this. Dallas, Texas yesterday. Political violence from the left yet again. An ICE facility was fired up on by a supposed sniper. If dude was a sniper, he wouldn't have had such god-awful aim. Joshua John, 29 years old, stood up on a rooftop and started spraying an ICE facility with gunfire. That gunfire hits a nearby van, striking not ICE agents, but detainees. So these detainees are stricken with bullets. One of them dies on the scene. Two of them are in critical condition right now in the hospital. And somehow, some way, they're trying to spin this because the victims of this happen to be detainees. They're saying two things at once. They're doing the Travis thing. Two things at once. They're saying, on one hand, that because they're detainees, that the person targeted them on purpose, and he had to be a MAGA guy. The MAGA guy going after brown people. There are no MAGA guys going after brown people. And MAGA guys want equality. They don't want to just go after brown people and oppress and kill brown people. Get that shit out of your head. That's the shit that causes the violence. That's the shit that's going to cause somebody to come after me and open my head up on a sidewalk and play with my brains on a viral video. Cut that out. People who are MAGA are not out for the oppression and or death of brown people. So that's bullshit, especially since the bullets had all kinds of anti-ICE slogans written on them. Because these psychopaths have to write little messages on the bullets. I'm gonna write it, and they're gonna learn their lesson, and I'm gonna be a hero. He turned the gun on himself and died like a coward. I'm sorry, but accidental drug overdose is a more dignified way of dying than suicide. And get mad at me, and come after me. Make sure you're out for blood when you do, if you don't like what I'm saying. But I'll say it again, I'll double down on it. Accidental drug overdose is a more dignified way of dying than suicide. So anyway, he was not a MAGA guy. He was very much leftist, judging by these psychotic slogans and phrases written on these bullets. Now people are going to say, well, he wouldn't have gotten the wrong people if the wrong people weren't there. If these people could have lived out their lives as illegal residents, if they weren't in this van getting killed by this gunman. They could have lived out their lives in their home countries, wherever those home countries were. We're not going to assume Mexico or Venezuela or El Salvador or even any part of Latin America. But these people could have lived out their lives wherever they came from and never came here in the first place. If you want to do the would've, could've, should've game. So once again, it is gun violence, political gun violence, from the left, and the left will not take accountability for it. Accountability. You gotta take accountability. Accountability. You gotta take accountability. You just do. You just do. And that's where the problem lies. People never want to take accountability, especially from the left. Crime runs rampant because of the Democrats, and the Democrats never take accountability. The lawfare taking place comes from the Democrats. They never take accountability. Collaborations with sneaky Chinese scientists that cause a worldwide pandemic is because of the Democrats, and the Democrats don't take accountability. Everybody wants to focus on the Charlie Kirk Memorial and brand that man a racist. Let me tell you something. All these public figures that are labeled as racists, I will take a beating for them. That's how sure I am that they're not racist. I stand by Charlie Kirk, Hulk Hogan, and Jimmy Swaggart. Rest in peace to all three of those gentlemen. and they were all kind souls that never screwed anybody over in their entire life. Well, some of them may have had their slip-ups. At least 2 of them had their slip-ups. But they got right with God, and that's between them and God. It's not for us to judge. But I'll tell you this, Jordan Neely was a filthy criminal. He didn't, we're not saying whether or not he deserved to die, but the people he was going to kill, had he not died, didn't deserve to die. That's for sure. So, Jordan Neely was not a peaceful, docile creature. Neither was George Floyd. And if you want me to stop talking about dead people, okay, kill Mauro Garcia. He was not the family guy and father figure people try to say he was. In other words, he was no Charlie Kirk. But they ain't the most grimy, filthy animals. Parasites as their heroes. And by parasite, I mean sucking the life out of the government. Realize removing Kilmar Garcia alone had adverse positive effects on the U.S. economy. Just removing that one fucking clown, that one sinner. But anyway, people want to talk about, oh, you're just picking on him because he's brown. There's lots of brown people that I don't pick on. They're called Republicans and conservatives. And if they're brown, then so be it, they're brown. But because they're brown, they are brown people that I don't pick on. Because they also happen to be people of good moral character. And I said it in my last video. I wouldn't care if I was the only white person living on my block if every single person in every last one of those other houses on that block was a conservative. Conservatives don't go around knifing people on a light rail train. Conservatives don't randomly push people onto subway tracks. Conservatives don't stand on top of rooftops and spray at conservative figures. No matter what left-wing media will try to tell you. Conservatives don't go from Nevada to New York and start killing people with a gun they shouldn't have been having in New York in the first place. So they're talking about tightening gun laws in New York, but meanwhile, that person that shot up the NFL offices in New York a month ago or so already broke New York gun laws. He went right to the sign, past the signs. He walked right past the sign that says gun-free zone, went into the building with this big friggin' rifle. If the stereotype New Yorkers mind their business wasn't believed before, it certainly should be now. This guy's walking through the streets of New York with this big frickin' rifle, past a sign that says gun-free zone, into a building, rides the elevator, and then starts shooting people. and they rushed to say he was white. You remember that story? The black man that the news said was white. Because there's a narrative. There's a narrative. They want you to believe that the greatest violence in this country is by a bunch of white people drinking American-made beer in the back of a pickup with their beer guts, freely saying the N-word, that are sick and tired of those people that they're calling the N-word, and they want to get in the back of that pickup and yee-haw! And whatever else happens after they say yee-haw. White supremacy is a group of people in the back of a pickup truck saying all kinds of ignorant shit to each other. They ain't gonna do jack shit. What you call white supremacists are a joke and aren't a major problem in the country. It is the Democrats, many of whom have white supremacist ideologies. And they just want to manipulate things so that people are pitted against each other and distracted so that they could put their hands in our pockets. They will rifle through our pockets while we are fighting one another over race. And I'll say it again, besides crime runs rampant because of the Democrats, it's not a black and white thing, it's a left and right thing. And you need to join the side of the righteous. You will have less problems in your life. You get new problems, but it'll be an overall smaller amount of problems if you join the side of the righteous, the right side, the conservative side, the Republican side. I know some of you are libertarians, that's cool, you'll see the light someday. I ain't hating on you. But the thing of it is this. You gotta join the side of the righteous because crime runs rampant because of the Democrats. The left is your mortal foe. The left is your enemy. And the sooner you leave the left, the better. Because now look what they're doing. They're shooting up ICE facilities and injuring and even killing the people they claim they're supposed to be protecting. It's ungodly, folks. It's ungodly. This concludes this episode of the MC Too Tall Show. Respect God, watch out for the Illuminati, like, follow, share, comment, subscribe, stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, goth scene ambassador from New York City, your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC Too Tall. You be safe out there.